Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're joining me from in the world, welcome. My name is Coach Adam. I run a company called Soccer Roots. If you're joining me on Instagram, thank you. YouTube, thank you. Facebook, thank you. Please like, subscribe, comment as always, and share. If you're a parent, you should be sharing these because there's not many places that kind of want to help anymore, sadly. I had an amazing question from a lady who was in one of my school classes. Sadly, I'm not going to name the school. Sadly, the school isn't dealing fantastically well with a child's anxiety. And this just happens. This just happens. School system is 200 years old. No one's updated it. And we've moved forwards. We've got like 3, 4, 5, maybe like 5 or 6 generations in to the school curriculum, and it's not being modernized. So there's going to be bigger and bigger problems as we get on, with a lack of people who have been able to understand basic things now, like anxiety and failure tolerance and all these things that we do at Soccer Roots. But here I am to help you because I'm only in Los Angeles and I can't help everybody. So if your son or your daughter has crippling anxiety, those were the words used in this question, crippling anxiety, they can't get their child to function in society presently because he has actually just been shut down. I'm gonna help. Okay, so this wasn't an anxiety caused by the parent. The very first thing I would say, if that is happening to you, is you've got to look at yourself, right? If you are kind of making them codependent, then you're obviously removing their own ability to grow themselves. There's a good chance that's the first stop in my brain when I'm looking for anxiety and the reasons from the fruit to the root. So number one, is it you really? It's not for me to judge right now, of course. So I just wanted to have that thought enter your mind. It could, at the very beginning, is it like a helicopter parent situation where they just feel like, oof, I don't have any space to be me? That could be the very first thing. But in this case, I know it's not the mother. I know her. So I'm going to answer the questions. With my own thoughts for her specifically, but hopefully this helps you. Number one, set expectations for the child, okay? So as a kid, for example, I actually had anxiety a lot with things like birthday parties. I don't like big crowds even now, particularly. So going to a birthday party every day is lovely to some children who are naturally engaging in those environments. But if your child isn't, then, think about that stuff. Don't just be, we've got to go to 4 birthday parties. You're creating potentially an anxiety, right? There could be a trigger hidden within a birthday party. It could be a kid they don't like, or they just don't like large crowds, or they just don't want to go. Come on, these are people. The very first thing is just communicate. But ultimately, set expectations, slow down the pace of the perceived chaos, and you will definitely start to get a little bit of a change, okay? So very first point, set expectations, don't overwhelm, and slow the pace. I could give you a story. Years ago, really quickly, there was a kid in my class who just wouldn't play. The dad was like, I don't understand. The mum was like, I don't understand. And the first thing they always say as a defense mechanism is, well, they do swimming. They do gym. I hear it every week. It's never about that. It's about the situation that's presented to them. So our job is to figure out, it should be to figure out the trigger. In this situation, it was that the kid actually didn't like the perceived chaos of the cones being different colors. Now, only because I put so much effort and education into my own growth did I figure that out. It took me about a week actually, because it was so abstract. I matched up the cones. Now there was order and structure in the player's mind, and he's never stopped since. That's huge. Now imagine if they didn't have someone like me in charge as their coach, that kid would have just quit soccer because the cones didn't match the color. So this is why I tell you to share, because we're not sharing a video of some bloke falling in a well or tripping over a rake, ha ha ha. This is actually helping people, so please share. Number 2, worry is actually natural. It's a natural thing. We have it biologically within us to help us actually think through dangerous potential things, such as, there's a really dark alley, I can't see the end of it, it's 3 a.m, should I walk down there? No, that's good to worry. That's logical to worry in that situation. So removing worry is not what you want to do. You actually want to let them know that worry is completely natural. It's actually there to protect us from dangerous situations. Like we should look left and right before we cross the road. Why? Because you'll get smashed by a car. Okay, so that will actually help them. Number 3, avoid avoidance. This is a big one. A lot of parents think, well, what I'll do is if they don't like dogs, hypothetically, I'll just keep them away from dogs. Well, you can't do that because that's band-aiding the problem, and it's never going to work because there's a dog coming along at some point in their life. You know, there's a dog that's crossed the street or whatever. You can't do that. You're avoiding avoidance is eventually coming, and in fact, it internalizes and normalizes that behavior for them, which makes it go deeper and deeper and makes my job harder and harder. Number 4, reframe. I do this with everybody. Reframe. Oh, I missed my shot, coach. Yes, but your approach was amazing. Next time you'll score. Bam, straight to the positive, and I do it within half a second. They don't even get time to let that thought go through their brain and get into their soul. Before they do, I fix it. And this is another thing for parents. People think I'm mad. I'm not. I'm just qualified and I've done this my entire life. I'm pretty much the best in my field, and that's not blowing my own trumpet because I'm not a scientist. I would be rubbish as a scientist. I'd be like the worst person in the world. I'd be rubbish as an acrobat. But what I do, I'm excellent at, so pay attention. You have to reframe these situations so that they can mentally understand it. I'm actually going to do a whole video on reframing in about 5 minutes. But what we're talking about is, you know, is this fear actually correct in your own reality? Because often it's not real, it's just been manifesting in your mind and you've created a fake reality that isn't even true. Such as, oh, if I go out to this could happen and this could happen. And you live in hypothetical world, and then hypothetical world doesn't actually come true. And sadly, I meet people in the 50s, 60s, 70s who still live in this world, but what if it doesn't? It's not going to happen. Live in the present and then reframe in the present, okay? So if we suddenly think, oh, that kid laughed at me when I was reading, we don't know what that kid's laughing about. How can we reframe that to keep it positive, right? We're making it all about ourselves and internalizing something that's probably not even happening. Number 5, empathize. Empathize. You know, it's so important to connect with human beings. I say this all the time, but to communicate and empathize and just let them know that you're there to be help. You're there to assist them in this journey of anxiety, because who doesn't have anxiety to some level? But here we're talking about crippling anxiety. So hopefully those 5 tips helped you. Set expectations. Let them know that worry is natural. Number 3, avoid avoidance. That's a big one. Number 4, reframe. Huge one. And number 5, empathize and be there as a support system for them. As I always say, let love be the energy. Okay, so hopefully that helps you. If you have any more questions, please shoot them over to me. Like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you guys very soon.